Hello there everyone and welcome to another race in the Apex Online Racing Project CARS 2 PC GT3 League. This is Tier 1 on the PC platform. I'm Fizzy and I will be joined in the commentary box by King-Kodiak as per usual, but he is currently down with the drivers to form the grid because we have a special, very special race coming up for the first time ever. A longer race format as in the middle of the season, as mentioned last week. Round 3 and round 7 this season is special. So for tonight we are not going to have 60 minutes of racing, we're going to have 90 minutes of racing in round 3 here at Indianapolis Road. It's going to be 63 laps in the middle of the night as well. So let's quickly jump out to the racetrack. Okay, that looked very dark. There we are. That's a little bit better. You can see the Indianapolis circuit and all the cars on the grid. So, special round. As I mentioned, a longer race for this week, and in addition to that, there will not be any qualifying for this race. The grid will be organized in form of a kind of a reverse championship order. So, not quite, I will get back to why that is. But mainly, the guys will be in pretty much reverse championship order. The difference from the complete championship order is that, first of all, the drivers that have finished both of the first two races will be at the front of the field. So that means, I believe there was 16 drivers, if I can get the provisional grid up. 16 drivers that have completed both of the two races in the season so far, which means those 16 drivers will be reversed in the championship order, meaning that the championship leader, TX3 Storm, will be starting in 16th position, D Heidi in 15th, being second in the championship, and so on. Then, behind them will be starting the guys that have finished one of the two races so far this season, also in reverse championship order, and then at the back, the guys that have finished neither of the races so far. So you can see now, all the cars pulling away. We will have the normal formation lap, manual rolling start procedure, but of course a little bit more unusual, and it'll take a little bit longer than usual to sort out the grid because of the cars not sitting on the grid in the order that we're supposed to be starting the race in. So at the moment, King-Kodiak, my co-commentator, is down with the drivers calling out the grid in the correct order, and the drivers pulling away from their starting box in the order they get called out. And the pole man for this race, it says Andrex at the moment. It will not be Andrex on pole. He is in with us today to be a safety car just for the formation lap. So Andrex, one of the veteran GT3 League racers here in PC Tier 1, he is back for one formation lap only, at least for now, to lead the field away for this special round. Nice to see quite a few of you joining us in the chat for what should be a very exciting race, as we see Nagrom in that rainbow Lamborghini pulling away in 22nd place, meaning that he's one of the guys that have finished one of the two races this season. And that's a new guy actually, Danny. Do you say Danny van der Meer? I feel like that's some kind of Dutch name where VD means Van der, but I'm going to say just Danny, I think. As we have someone sneaking into the commentary box. Hello there. It's a bear. It's unbelievable. I am being attacked by a bear in the commentary box. I'm quite scared. Yep. Yeah, new guy to the league, as I just mentioned before you popped in here. So what car is he in? He's also in the Audi, which I've seen quite a few drivers take this season. I'm going to quickly, just because this is not the longest lap in the world, I'm going to quickly just run through the top 10 in the driver standings after the first 2 out of the 10 rounds that we have this season. So, as mentioned, Storm is leading the way by 12 points over Heidi, which is why he is starting down in 16th, being the sort of reverse of the double finishers so far this season. And Speedyman ahead of the reigning champion Jadier in 4th. Popsu is currently in 5th in the championship ahead of Scott, Villalobos, Ironic, Nagrom and Guibs. Triple French group there at the bottom of the top 10. Then in the team championship, showing you this for the first time this season, Virtual Drivers by TX3, which is a team of Storm and Popsu, sitting pretty at the top ahead of VD Italia by TX3 with Heidi and Villalobos, the double Italian team. And you can see the rest quickly, but we now have to skip back to the track because already it is time for the race to get out of the way. King-Kodiak has all these cars flying down towards the fast first corner here at Indianapolis.
Tanking a little bit. I apologise if that is affecting your side. So a lot of racing going on, and Berserk has already lost the lead. There he is in the Renault. The Mercedes of Dinderes and Nick Meadow in the McLaren taking over the top 2 spots.
Indeed, I do apologise for the audio issues there on the first lap. Apparently people could not hear you in Kodiak, which is a great shame because your voice is the most hearable voice in the world. So,
is that your side or my side?
That's my side. So
okay.
My fault. But at least you could see the action going on the first lap, and yeah, it's going to be crazy here, especially at the start of this 90-minute race, with the grid being so shaken up compared to what we usually see, of course, with most of them being in reverse championship order. And we can see side by side for the lead ahead of Berserker, who started on pole, dropping to 3rd place on the first lap. And we got Nick Meadow leading the way now ahead of Ginger, starting lap number 2. So a little trio forming out in front. It'll be interesting to see how far down Berserker will fall, starting from pole. And we have Nagrom into the pits in that rainbow Lamborghini. Unfortunately, he must have had some kind of contact happening on the first lap of the race, because it's not early enough, or late enough, I should say, to do the mandatory pit stop, I believe. Or actually, can you do it at the end of the racing lap, or did you have to do 2 laps first?
No, it's end of the first racing lap that he can. So he is. I think there's been an issue with our new guy as well, because he's a long way off the back of the field. So I wonder if there's been a contact between himself and Nagrim. That's the only thing I can surmise. 4-way battle here. That is Gibbs, Scott, Nesterowicz and Ironic. We saw Nesterowicz in that lovely side-by-side early on. There goes the Mercedes of Scott, diving on the inside of turn 12 as they come back into the infield section. And, of course, with the way that the grid is ordered, as with any reverse grid, you have the faster drivers having to work their way past those that are maybe a little bit slower. But again, the nature of this particular track, low altitude and lots of straights, so it is really going to suit well the likes of the Mercs. So we will see how well the Audis actually stack up. That's what I'm most curious about, to see how well the Audis stack up to the Mercs and the Lambos this time around, as we see that's Nesterowicz and Gibbs side by side in the Audi and Lamborghini. Oh, and the green Lamborghini holding on to that spot, coming through 13 and 14. Ooh, that's very... Oh, no, big button. That's 7 through to 11. They've just gone through. I've lost track of where they were on circuit. So that's very, very close. And Nesterowicz having to hold 5 side by side as well. As we can see, I think it was Nesterowicz losing out to Ironic there.
Gone past him as well. Nesterowicz got a bad exit there after battling with Gibbs. I have to say, I love that green Audi livery. So yeah, Gibbs up to P6, which is good for him. I believe he started in 7th. We of course have to keep an eye on the progress of Storm, Heidi, Jardier, Speed Demon, those guys that are at the front of the standings, they have all gained about 4 positions, I'm seeing, from where they started at the moment. Out of those 4, Jadier is leading the way 9th place, ahead of Storm in 10th, Heidi 11th, and Speedyman currently in 12th. So they're all close together, the 4 main championship contenders after the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, Heidi is staying right with Storm and Jadier. Oh dear, that's Nesterowicz that's gotten a little bit out of shape.
Look at that.
And Storm's in
the
trouble.
championship leader, the huge wobble, trying to avoid hitting into Nesterowicz after Nesterowicz first of all got out of shape. And it's that Jadier trying to get past Aronik as well on the inside into turn 1, and he's got it up to 7th place. Jadier making quick work of the slightly slower cars here at the start of the race, as we got the Heidi now side by side with Nesterowicz as well. He'll want to get past him as quickly as possible. He's got the inside line now, so we will get it done. But Storm, the championship leader, has made contact with Nesterowicz. Has gone straight into the advertising boards. Is that damage to those cars? It could be crucial for Storm, the championship leader, if that has damaged the front of his Audi. Of course, a shame for Nesterowicz as well. He's dropped a lot of time going onto the grass there. Speedyman just coming through and avoiding all of that. But that is a huge moment at the start of this race.
Yeah, indeed. I think I was a little bit too eager for Nesterowicz to try and return to the racing line. He hadn't realised that he was side by side with the Audi, and that has, of course, pitched him right into the middle. Colonel McCoy is in as well, so his race has gone downhill. But as we said before, it's an hour-and-a-half race. It's measured at 63 laps in all. Here we have the Hunter in a big old pack of cars there. That's Steve, Fab Iceman, Ad Alexis. Popsu is in there as well. So Popsu hasn't managed to get very far up the field. Whether he's been held up or whether he's had an incident, of course, we don't know. It's quite a long way behind his championship contenders. Villa Lobos right with him as well. 2 Desert Pack, a couple of cars back as well. So a lot of, it's just jostling going on everywhere, exactly as you would expect from a reverse grid race. Up at the front, Nick Mido and Dinder S are still fighting away. Just half a second between them. They are 4.5 seconds clear of Berserker, who was our pole man for this race. As we see, that's the Lambo of Ad Alexis that's got slightly out of shape there. Just manages to cut in front of Popsu's Audi coming through that particular.
Oh, that's close again. Popsu's had a bad start, I'd have to say. Of course, he started further up the grid than this. He was he's definitely finished both races. He would have started in the top 16 and ahead of those top 4 in the championship that I mentioned before. So he's dropped about 6 positions at the start of this race. So a bad start of the race for Popsu.
Popsu was he was due to start 12th, but we do have a couple of drivers missing from this race. So he actually started, so I think it's just 1 position up. Yeah, he started in 11th and he's down there in 17th. So it's not gone well for the main contender from last season against Jadier's dominance. Dinderas still pressuring Nick Mido, as you can see there, for the lead. And then right the way back here is the beginning of a big old train behind Berserker of Johan Scott. And there's Jadier now up to 6th position. Storm is in, so yeah, he must have suffered damage after that impact with Nesterowicz, or he's just choosing to get his pit stop out of the way very early on. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he sits still for a while. And indeed he does. Now, I'm not certain whether they will actually do a whole race or nearest damage. And yeah, he was away very quick, so maybe he didn't have a lot of damage on that car. I was just saying, I'm not sure whether they will actually do, how far they will go on 1 set of tyres on 1 fuel tank. So by how quickly Storm got back underway again, it would seem that they probably don't have to pit at all. Jadier now up to 5th position. That is him on the inside of Johan, challenging for the inside of turn 7. So a great move then by Jadier,
Already up to 4th place, Jadier, from starting around 12th place. So
he started in. Because I've moved my windows around, I lost the list.
If Popsu was 11th, then Jadier would have been 12th, I'm pretty sure. So
yes, he was quite right.
Very impressive stuff from him. He's certainly the quickest in terms of making progress through out of those guys that started in that area of the field. Jadier has only got 3 more cars ahead of him. Of course, Berserker's right there, but the top 2 have 5 seconds or so up in front. But yeah, interesting with Storm going into the pits that early. I can't see, I just can't see the logic behind going into the pits this early. I mean, if it was a normal length race, then sure, but 90 minutes. Can the fuel tanks even go 90 minutes? As we got Speedyman as well in the pits.
And Heidi.
Okay, yeah. Okay, in that case, it must be planned, I would say.
Yeah. And they're only stopping very quickly, so you would think they're maybe just topping up the fuel tank and just getting on with it. So, yeah, that would make me think that they can go the whole length of the race. I mean, it's got to be running the tank pretty dry, I'd have thought, as Dinder having a look for the race lead on the inside of Nick Meadow to no avail. And that's Jardier having a go on Berserker. That's going to be for third. Outside move on turn 7. And fair play to Berserker. He defended the apex line, but there was just too much grip and pace in that Audi from Jardier. Jardier now up to third place. Very nicely done. Oh, and that's the Renault getting slightly twitchy. Looks like Johan may well have a go on the Renault. That's how close they are. Big O, a bit of slipstream's going to dive on the inside of turn 12. And is that going to be job done? Just about, still side by side. Nicely done. Although, the Renault has, I think, given that one up. Yeah, you do know when you need to learn when the position has gone, and fair play to Berserker. He held on to that as long as he could. Doesn't look like the tail of that Renault is very, very loose. So that is Jardier to third, Johan to fourth, and Dinderes and Nick Meadow swap position. The mistake.
Have they?
That was
damage potentially for Dindos. Just smacked the wall on the left side going into turn 1. That looked very weird, I have to say. Of course, we didn't see exactly how that started. Maybe locked the rears and maybe got a bit of wiggle in the braking zone, but either way, Nick Meadow going back into the lead there. Who was that into the pits?
That was Popsu in the pits.
Interesting. So I would say at this point, Jardier is the favourite for the win, but then you consider that all his top 3 championship rivals are already pitted and are probably running in relatively clean air at the moment. You'd expect them to be close to each other, but they don't have to really then pass these other drivers that Jardier has had to pass now. So really, it's going to be similar to round 1, where we don't know where Jardier is relative to those other guys until Jardier's also made his pit stop.
Absolutely, but we saw how well. Oh goodness me! I think it was Berserker possibly getting out of the way. He doesn't have to. That's for position, but I think he's opted to go for the safer route and stay on the outside of turn 11, as that is ironic. And Gibbs fighting over position 6. But yeah, we saw how well Heidi made that undercut work in the opening round at Sonoma in the Z4. And Heidi, where is he? He's down there in 20th, but he's got one directly ahead of him. That's Storm, who is also pretty quick at the moment.
Interesting note. Popsu is 5 seconds behind Heidi, but then Speedzeman is further 3 seconds behind. So Speedzeman's lost out. He was with Heidi and Storm before he started pitting, and he was definitely ahead of Popsu. So Speedzeman has lost out. Villalobos now, the man, Heidi's teammate, of course, who was really unlucky last week with, I believe it was a disconnection or some kind of issue that forced him to not finish that race, which is also why he started very far down in this race, having only finished one of the 2. And he is also taking an early pit stop here in this race.
Indeed. So we still have patches of battles going on, and still the lead battle is going on between Nick Meadow and Dinderes. The McLaren doing what he can to fend off the charging Mercedes. We saw the Merc bounce off the wall the fastest lap, and because my race feed box is working because we didn't have a qualifying session. You want to guess who's got the fastest lap?
Might it be Jardier?
Storm.
Well, I should have guessed, to be honest, remembering last week, but that was in the rain, different conditions.
Yeah, but I mean, Jardier is pressing on. He's got himself 1.5 seconds between himself and Johan behind, and he's closed down to about 3.5 between himself and the Mercedes ahead. Jardier opting to run for a while, and there is the lead battle once again. The Merc getting into the slipstream of the McLaren, and Nick Meadow defending the inside line. Gets a little bit deep at turn 1, but there's not much gap between turns 1 and 2. Not that Dinder cares. He wanted to do an outside manoeuvre round 2, didn't get the traction where he needed it, but he is absolutely determined to do something against the McLaren ahead. My God, that engine's loud. That's a fabulous roar of the Mercedes. And our new guy, Danny, has come into the pits as well, so he's opting for a pretty early pit stop. Still a long way to go. Lap 10 out of, or lap 11 rather, out of 63. So long way to go. Quite a few people getting their pit stops out of the way early.
Yeah. So Nick Meadow and Dinder continuing their great battle for the lead of this race. Of course, I believe they're still in that league because I can't remember. I can't see Storm or Heidi or those guys having pitted already, having pulled enough time to sort of be nets ahead of these guys. But this battling though isn't really going to help relative to those other fast guys in the race that are running currently in clean air. Jada, of course, catching on them as well as we speak. They're still running 25 slow previous lap, so not too slow at all. But of course, when you have a race this long and you have the opportunity to break away a little bit, you managed to get that gap at the start of the race. I would say if I was Nick Meader and Dinda, I would sort of wait with the battling a little bit, maybe try to help each other into the race and then take it afterwards. But no, they're not taking my advice. Dinda's going out the inside into turn 1. He's got a little bit deep actually. Nick Meader's going to get the cut back there, but he's going to be on the outside for turn 2, which means that Dinda is going to be able to hold on to the lead of the race. Of course, when they are in an opportunity to be in the lead of the race, it's, you know, I can understand it being hard to follow my advice there, because it's always, you always want to go for that lead if you have the chance to. And after the pit stops, it might well be that they are not going to find themselves in the lead of the race anymore. So, oh well, at least they will be leading some laps each here. And Dinda with the upper hand at the moment.
Dinda looked like he went a bit deep there at turn 7, so Nick Meader is hanging on to the back of that Mercedes. Jardier is closing them down pretty quickly. He was 8 to 9 tenths quicker than the pair of them last time around. Of course, they were fighting, so we'll see if Jardier is able to maintain that particular pace. Jardier, the only one in the top 16 in the 24s, and then you got 124.5, which was only 1/10 slower than his previous fastest lap by this man. So Storm is absolutely flying at the moment. He's got no one anywhere near him. 12 seconds down the road is Noah, and there you see Heidi in the Z4. He's 3 and a bit tenths slower than Storm last time around. Again, a bit of breathing space, 2.5 seconds between the two. So Heidi is pushing on as hard as he can. I do think the Z4 is probably a little disadvantaged here, so he would have to do everything he possibly can to keep up with the championship leader. Meanwhile, Jardier is getting within a second now of Nick Meader, so he's going to be joining in this battle. You can see the McLaren has fallen off the back of the Mercedes then as they've come through turns 5 and 6. That is the view from Jardier's car. It's nearly a second between the top two now, so Nick Meader would seem to have been, I think it was fairly clear that the McLaren was holding up the Mercedes, and that is now proving it. Dinda now getting the toe down and getting on with the job. 24.8 by Jardier. Again, last time around was 26.6 from Nick Meader, so he didn't make a mistake last time. Battle for 4th is still going on. Just wonder if we're going to see it from that view. Just about. There it is. It's Scott and Johan. They've been side by side quite a bit. There is Ironic in the lead Lamborghini. Oh, the blue Merc. Having a think about that. A inside move from turn 12 doesn't quite come off. That battle continues. Still battles up and down the field. And we're already on lap 14 now. Wow, that's really is flying by quite well. And still no pit stops in from these lead guys. As Jardier right on the tail of the McLaren. As from this camera view, I can't at all hear the Audi's engine. All I can hear is McLaren. As that's Hunter in. So the Rainbow Lamborghini, he has opted for this point to bring his car in. We'll see how that transpires, but look at that, not even, or barely even 2 tenths between the two, staying well and truly in the slipstream. And Nick Meader, he well knows that Audi's there. He's staying very hard to the inside line. We saw Jardier pull his move off on Berserker last time. What a move!
Oh, he's on the grass!
Still side by side, coming through those turns. Well defended by Nick Meader. Oh, goodness me. There was a tiny bit of door banging going on between the two. Brilliantly done. But Jardier's come straight back at him on the inside of 10. Second half, the inside of 11. The fast right-hander leading down to the back to the infield section. Is Nick Meader going to try and string it on the outside? No. He knew that battle was lost. Just had a thought about a cut back. But that is second now in the hands of Jardier.
Brilliant stuff from the reigning champion. That was Nick Meader definitely tried to defend that very hard indeed, and it did a good job for a while, but Jardier eventually just making his way through, and now we'll be hoping to put Nick Mito behind him and focus on catching Dindau's, who's gained a couple of seconds on these guys through the battling.
Wow. 24-7 from Dindo. Wow, he's finding pace in that Mercedes.
Wow,
and like I was saying before, I think this track is more suited to the Mercs than possibly the Audis, but Jardier is certainly looking to disprove that particular theory. But fair play to Dinder for getting into the 24s. No one right the way down to Storm was Dinder and Jardier, sorry, are the only two to have hit that 24 mark, right the way down to Storm and De Heidi in 16-17. Speed Demon with a 24-7 as well in 19th. So only a few people hitting that particular pace at the moment. So yeah, that'll obviously help Storm start to reel in people ahead. But of course, he's got a lot of traffic to weed through. Oh, actually, speaking of the fastest lap, has just changed. It's this man, Speed Demon, a pole man from last week in the trailing Audi. There, it's Popsu he's chasing. Popsu, we know, has had trouble early on, and now the red and white Audi is looking to try and make a move for what is currently 18th position. But of course, as the race continues, that I suspect with the pit stops coming in, a good half the field still have to do their pit stop.
I mean, this is still a crucial battle in the grand scheme of things, because both these guys in a net position are running pretty high up, of course. Yeah, we know Speed Demon is fast. He's finished third on the podium in both of the first two races. So definitely want to keep an eye out on as this race goes along. There's a big battle here. Berserker is getting completely out of shape. And that is Nesterovich managing to avoid him, just about getting around the outside as well. Good stuff from the Lamborghini, but Berserker continuing to slide around. That's Renault, and there's some contact with Nesterovich, who that time got out of shape. Got a bit slow and maybe surprised Berserker with the speed he was carrying through that corner. Now he's gone away again though, Berserker. Losing speed through the chicane. Zenny now on the back of him, currently in 10th position, wants to make that 9 on the outside. This is the Jardier corner. Berserker all out of shape again on the braking this time on the inside, and Zenny seeing that coming, moving around the outside and gaining that position. Good stuff from the blue and orange Audi there.
So that got very close.
Yeah,
I'm sure
really did.
Zenny wouldn't have wanted that kind of close quarters. Oh, as we see, ironic.
Speaking of close, there was some scraping with the wall, and it's gone wide actually. That's ironic.
Yeah, that's a little too deep into turn 12. It's so easy to do because, of course, you come onto the banking. It's very easy to kind of just miss your braking point, but he's very squirrely then out of 13. And yeah, he's if anything, he looks quite slow, but I suspect that's just one mistake that he hasn't had a chance to regain his momentum from. And it looks like Gibbs in that green and black Audi is then coming onto the back of him. In that background, we can see that battle we were just looking at, Nesterovich, Zenny and Berserker. There's Fab Iceman in the green Porsche, who unfortunately we made a bit of a mistake with when he pitted last week. We thought he pitted at the very last moment. He'd actually pitted a lap too late, and sadly was disqualified for it as he had pitted within the final 5 laps of last week's race. So that sadly gave Fab Iceman a disqualification, which put him quite a way down, because technically he wouldn't have finished the race. That's deemed a non-finish, so that put him a long way down the field, which is a bit of a shame.
He would have finished 7th last week, but instead he got disqualified, which means he's got a DNF and a DSQ so far this season. 0 points, 26 in the championship, but let's hope he can get some points on the board this time.
Yeah, absolutely, which is awfully disingenuous, because I mean, we saw how quick Fab Iceman was last season, the Ferrari. He's put up a fair fight in the Porsche as well so far. Yeah. So let's have a look at where everybody is. Dinderes continues to lead the race by 2.8 seconds and is setting very quick. Lap has 24.6 last time around. Great effort there. Jardier in second, 24.7, so lost a tiny bit of time against the Mercedes. 2.8 separates the top two. Nick Mito in the McLaren is 2.6 down from Jardier. Has got Scott in the Mercedes bearing down on it, which is, there he is, 25.8 for Nick Mito, 24.9. So another 24 now starting to come onto the board yet again in Mercedes that is getting into that kind of pace. Johan, 25.7, is 2 seconds behind Scott. 6th is Ironic in the Lambo, 25 dead, is 2.1 seconds behind Johan's, fairly evenly spaced in the top 6. There is Gibbs in the Thrustmaster coloured Audi, who is about 8/10 behind Ironic. 25-1 last time around. Nesterowicz in the Lambo has got his rearview mirror full of Zenny in the Audi. 25-3 for the Lambo, 25-4 for the Audi. And then you've got Berserker 25-5 in the Renault. So he is doing what he can to keep the pace up in the Renault. He's obviously been struggling for traction in places, but continues to press on. Fab Iceman in 11th. 2.6 behind, 25-6 last time. 25-2 by the Lambo of Adalexis in 12th. 2 Desert Pack is not far behind. In his Audi, he's chasing that Lamborghini. 25-3 for him. Noah is a little bit of a lonely race there. He's 11 seconds behind 2 Desert Pack. Then Steve.
Yeah, this is interesting because Steve is the last man on track who has not pitted yet. So the top 15, well, now obviously Storm going through. So Storm being the leader of those that have pitted, and he's pulled quite a way from DeHeidi, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's about 3.5 seconds between DeHeidi and Storm now. So and again, I think that kind of comes to, I mean, still, DeHeidi's getting 24-6 last time around. Both Storm and DeHeidi did. So DeHeidi is absolutely wringing the neck of that Z4. I just think that the characteristics of the track don't necessarily suit the Z4. Popsu in 18th place, 25-8 last time around. So he, again, is struggling in his Audi. There is Speed Demon. He made a mistake last time, 28-5. Finds himself in 19th place. Villa Lobos in 20th. Is 7 seconds down from Speed Demon, pressing on in the Z4. Then it is Hunter. He came through the pits fairly recently, which is why he's down there. 25-2 last time, just about across the line. His last lap was a 25-0, along with Danny. So he's setting pretty decent pace back there. He's 30 seconds behind Hunter, though, so he's got a lot of time to make up. There is Conor McCoy. He had an early problem, which sees him near the back of the field, along with Nagram as well. New fastest lap by race leader in the Mercedes, 125.319.
Wow. So Dinda setting the pace out in front. Really impressive stuff from him, considering that he hasn't really...
4/10 quicker than Storm.
Exactly, he hasn't really been up there in the first 2 races of the season. He's finished 14th and 16th. He's down in 17th in the championship. Of course, that means it's good for him that he started quite high up in the field. Maybe it was tactical. Maybe he had this round 3 in mind. He was like, oh, I'm going to win this. Let's just have 2 bad races at the start. But nah, I can't imagine that's the case. Either way, Dinda showing up here in Indianapolis. Whether it's a track that suits him, whether it's a track that suits the Mercedes, or whether he just loves nitrate racing, I don't know. But either way, something is clicking for Dinda, and even if he started high up there, he's still showing now with his pace that he deserves to be that far up.
He's just set the fastest sector 2 as well, so that's not a one-off, it seems, by Dinda. He is on a charge as we now see the next Mercedes down the road. It's Scott. Inside maneuver, that's going to be fairly straightforward, and there it is. That's 3rd place now for Scott in the blue Mercedes. Nick Meadow is falling through the field a little bit, but Nick Meadow still with the 25-6s, but of course when you're up against 24-5s or 24-3s as we saw last time around, yeah, so Dinda again 24-5, Jardier 24-6 last lap. Where's Storm? Now of course we need to keep an eye on him, exactly as you said before, as he is our championship leader. Where is he? He's just come through turn 11. He is gaining on Noah now within 3 seconds of the next car in line.
Yeah, he's got to catch Noah in not too long, but then he's got a nice 10-second gap ahead of him. So it's going to be more clean air, where he's obviously been running most of his race after his pit stop in clean air, apart from that moment getting past Steve, and he's going to have quite a bit more of that before he catches up to the main sort of pack that hasn't pitted, which is to Desert back in 13th place and further up from there.
24-6 for Storm, as we just see to Heidi. 25-3, but I think it was held up behind Steve there in the blue Porsche. So the Z4 then sides his way past into 16th position ahead of Steve. So of course did cost Heidi a bit of time. So again, even that last lap around, Dinda was still quicker, and you can't. Storm still has no traffic already ahead of him, so that's not traffic related. This is just Dinda has decided, right, now is my time, and I am going. 24-6 last time around. Jardier gained just shy of a 10th, 24-5 that last time around for the Audi. So Jardier is pressing on, but is having very little effect on that 3-second gap that the Silver Merc has to himself.
Yeah.
Oh, another one in. Zenny has chosen now to bring his car in.
So that's 10 out of 24 who have made their pit stop so far.
You either have a great memory or you're writing that down.
Nope, I just checked not too long ago, and then it was 9. So 9 plus 1 usually is 10.
That's normally how numbers work. Storm then has come through 24-7 for the Audi. There's the Heidi. Oops, no, that's Zenny. 24-8. So again, that's 10 slower than Storm. So the Heidi not quite able to keep up with Storm, which is no mean feat. We've seen how fast these guys are. Ironic, it's still on the back of Johan. That battle has been brewing for a while. They set nearly identical laps last time around. Just coming down towards turn 12 now. That Lambo is give him his dues. Ironic, he's doing pretty well in the lead Lamborghini. He's been kind of midfieldish so far. Again, I should have had the results handy of previous races and completely forgot to prepare that one.
Yeah, he's 8th in the championship, 19th and 6th, so kind of an inconsistent first 2 rounds for him.
Well, he finds himself in the 6th. He's having a look on the inside of turn 1, but doesn't choose to do it. Five Iceman, I just saw in the background there, has got that yellow Renault. Berserker jumping straight to the inside line, but that's going to give Fab Iceman a fair shot at the racing line. Just about closes the door on the Renault before he can turn in, and that's at a Lexus that's not far behind either. That black Audi there.
Is that a lapped car then?
It's Nagram. No, it's not Nagram. It's who is it? It's Danny. Yeah, he's a lap down. So someone along the line, he's either made a few mistakes or he's just had a terrible stop.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Something bad must have happened in this race somewhere for Danny, Colm McCoy and Nagram, because all of them are miles behind. And yeah, if Danny's lapped, then that means the other 2 are lapped as well.
Yeah, Jardier is right on the tail of Dinder.
What's happened there? Has Dinder's had a mistake?
He must have done, because Jardier was half a tenth slower last lap around. So suddenly the Mercedes is under all kinds of pressure. Here you go, 27-0 for the Mercedes, 24-3. That's almost the fastest lap, not quite, as it hasn't reported on the race feed for me. So that's getting real near top lap, fastest lap pace for Jardier. And Storm is right with Noah. So Storm now has got some traffic to deal with. He's not long gone past. Who's going to come into the shot? That's Nagram, I believe, in the multicolored Lamborghini. Yes, it is. So Storm has had some traffic this time around. Next guy, as I say, is Noah. That's going to be for 13th place. That is for position. And what's Storm's lap this time? 24-7. So he's maintaining that impressive pace. It's now, look at that. Jardier is nailed now to the back of that Mercedes. He must be very pleased that for that mistake for Dinder, because Jardier was either just pacing himself or was struggling to close into the Mercedes. And now a real battle on Hasbro. Of course, Jardier's been through the pits, or has he?
No.
No, he hasn't.
Of course, yeah, it's. I'm not sure how I would feel about this if I was Jardier, actually, because obviously, yes, he'll be pleased that he's been able to close the gap on Dinder with that mistake. But of course, if they now get into a really feisty battle, both of them are going to lose significant amount of time on those pitters that are running in clean air at the moment, Storm, Heidi, etc. So Jardier might be hoping that either he gets past Dinder relatively quick here, or that Dinder will continue to keep enough of a good pace to not lose him at least too much.
Indeed. And I'm sure they will figure that out in their own special way. And yeah, that Mercedes has been pretty mighty, but of course, as they defend, it will start pushing them back. And now Jardier thinking about an inside maneuver at 7. Dinder's not defended that line, and no, Jardier opted not to. It did look like the Mercedes went a little bit deep. into the first part of that twisty section. It looks like Jardier's trying to shape up for an undercut somewhere.
Yeah.
He's going to go for it. Now he's going to try it on turn 10. No, he couldn't get the traction. We needed it. And great then defensive positioning by Dinder. He's going to have a look at the inside of 12.
Surely going to have a run. No, not quite.
And indeed, no, he's going to go. Oh, what a cutback by the Audi. That was beautifully done by Jardier. Our current champion absolutely timed that perfectly to throw there on the inside of turn 12 and has got the lead then. And it all comes down to whether, if he's going to defend from the Mercedes. Whoops, as Dinder nearly bounces off the wall. But of course, we've seen how quick, Dinder, we've seen a second faster than this already. Yeah. So we will see if he is able to do something now attacking the Audi instead of defending against it.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen Dinder's pace and that he can match with Jardier on pace, but can he match with him in a battle is the question. Of course, we saw Dinder at the start of the race for quite a few laps lose a lot of time fighting with a Nick Miro, who has proven later on to be clearly slower than these two. So that'd be interesting to see. Speaking of Nick Miro, yeah, here he is battling away with the... Wait, who is he battling with? Ironic, yeah. And another man in the battle as well is Gibbs, just behind. He's now going to have the outside line on Ironic, actually. Ironic braking really late now, a bit too late as well, nearly clattering the side of Nick Miro, luckily avoiding him, losing him time, and Gibbs gets through in the end. Good job from Ironic to avoiding that McLaren once he made that mistake, to at least avoid damage on those cars. But Gibbs looking up then, he started behind Nick Miro, and which means that he has caught him throughout this race and has now the chance to move himself into the top 5 as it stands.
Yeah, Gibbs started in 9th, so yeah, Nick Miro of course starting in 2nd. So he's done pretty well to get back onto the McLaren's pace. Surely he's having a look. He's having a think of it. Look how defensive Nick Miro's gone. He's wanted to close the door on the inside line into turn 1. Now Gibbs having to think about an outside move. Is it going to be a cutback? Oh no, there was well parked there by the McLaren to prevent Gibbs doing a cutback. We could just see Ironic and Nesterowicz aren't too far behind.
Oh, look at this! Wow. Surprise move there, I think, from Gibbs. Nick Miro probably didn't expect him to throw his car up the inside through that relatively fast right-hander, but Gibbs gets it done, forcing Nick Miro to take a wide line and losing time through that corner. Fantastic stuff.
What a move by Gibbs there. That caught me by surprise as well. That was absolutely stunning. Very, very nicely done. But Nesterowicz is catching the back of Ironic, so Ironic hasn't quite managed to get back into his rhythm from that battle for 5th that he was previously in. There's that one mistake we saw Ironic do is put him down. Oops, Nesterowicz running a little bit wide there on the exit at 10. So he's got to be careful in that Lamborghini. And Dinder looks like he's losing time against Jardier. That's now 6 tenths between the two. 24.9. Actually, he gained 4 tenths that time around. So it's not done and dusted for Jardier yet, it would seem. That battle rages on. Nick Miro is trying to chase Gibbs, but he's already lost 7 tenths to the Audi. Wow, the Thrustmaster Audi's got some pace. Well, Nick Miro's lost his pace. It's 26.5, so comparatively quite slow compared to those around him. I'm still keeping an eye on Storm's lap times. That's 24.5 for our championship leader, so he's still right up there with leader's pace. But interestingly, he's not exceeding the leader's pace.
Yeah.
So he's catching on those around him, but he's not realistically closing in on the top spot. Jardier has now got his foot down, fastest sector 1 time. So we might be seeing a new fastest lap on the board. Jardier now choosing... Oh, no sooner do I say that Dinder responds, new sector 2 time. I know you can't see that, but again, that pops up on my race feed. So the Mercedes is not wanting to let that Audi go at all. But we've had battles all race long. We're very fast approaching. We've got another, 8 laps or so before we hit halfway.
Yeah.
It's absolutely it's flying by for me, certainly.
Definitely is.
Yeah, several battles going on. Of course, we have that lead one, which Has Dinder made a mistake somewhere? No. Oh, New Fuss is out 24-1.
Wow.
By the Audi of Jardier. Wow, he found a lot of time in that last sector. That's 2/10 quicker than Dinder's last fastest lap. That's put nearly a second between the two. Ironic has come in. So the Lambo deciding to bring his car in before the halfway point. Other battles we've got going on. That's 2 Desert Pack is chasing Berserker. The Renault doing his best to keep pace, but has been struggling. I think it's fair to say. Noah is on the back of De Heidi, so the Z4 has worked his way past the Audi at some stage. And a 3-way battle here. Speed Demon, Popsu, and Steve is raging on. That 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Yeah, unfortunately for Steve, I do believe he's not pitted yet. So
that's a shame.
He is seemingly struggling quite a bit in this race.
Well, he started in 3rd, so
yeah.
that's going horribly wrong for him. That's ironic. You can see trundling along. He's going to, of course, put him towards the back of the field. And wow, Jardier is absolutely pressing on. He's continuing to build that gap at the front. They are now coming around the last turn, turn 14. Let's see what the lap times are this time. 24.3, 24.5. So another 2/10 to the Audi's favour.
I think Stevie's saying that there's no sound again, but I don't know why that is, because my OBS is picking up sound. If someone else can let me know in the chat whether you're hearing sound, that'd be great. Because OBS is saying sound. Anyway,
I'm getting sound. I know
okay.
That doesn't help you.
Stevie sorts your ears out. Right. Looking at Gibbs then, who is closing in on Johan. Started up towards the front. Johan hasn't been quite at the pace that we know he can do. Running in the 25s at the moment. Gibbs a little bit lower on the 25s, which means he is catching. Was Johan sitting low down in the championship as well, 16th place, whereas Gibbs just about within the top 10 in the standings after 2 rounds. Could be a close battle this for 4th place. And actually, I would keep looking at Storm, and he's not really closing. Oh my god, who is that? Oh, he's actually battling. Wait.
No, that's the lap runner.
Okay, yeah. It looked like a battle because he was like going for the inside line and everything. So
that's Colonel McCoy, unfortunately. That's had a lap. So yeah. He can chase the leader for a while. That's the view from Colonel McCoy.
Because like with Storm, he's not really catching the pack as quickly as I thought he would.
Yeah, likewise. I thought he would be. I mean, he's still in the 24s. De Heidi was a little bit quicker. De Heidi's still right there. There, you can just see the next car down the road. There he is. That's 2.5 seconds. So the Z4 has managed to keep pace with TX3 Storm. But yeah, exactly as you say, it's 24/7, which is still very quick. Let's not mistake that. But he's not been able to close in on the top 2. Dinder was 2/10 quicker than Jardier. Again, 24/7 for the Audi, 24.5 for the Mercedes. So Dinder is not ready to let that go at all. Gibbs, as we saw, was chasing Johan. Nesterovic is right around where Nick Meadow is. Of course, Storm he's got a fair bit of clear track ahead of him. There's 8 seconds or so to Desert Pack, and then there you got Danny in the middle of the two. Of course, he won't hold up Storm to any degree. He will of course be under blue flags, so we'll have to obey those. But yeah, 24.9 from Storm last time, 24.3 from De Heidi. So we could see those two crossing swords again. As Steve, exactly as you say, he has brought his Porsche in. Had not been in previously, or we assume he hadn't been in previously. There's a bit of a rearrangement going on the bumper of the Porsche. There he goes. Wasn't stationary for long, so that is going to drop him down even further. It's a bit of a shame as he started in 3rd. That is the nature of the beast, unfortunately.
Pit stop number 12 then, which means half of the drivers in the race at the moment have been through the pits, and half of them we are still waiting for. So Steve's gonna come out, well behind Ironic, and probably down with Danny. I'm not quite sure where Danny is at the moment. No, he's still quite far off. So Steve's gonna be in 21st place, outside of the points at the moment.
Someone else coming in?
Oh yeah, it is to Desert Pack, 11th place.
Well, almost, that's not how you navigate the pits, to Desert Pack.
Could be bother turning.
Yeah, you don't
let the wall do the work. Why not?
You are going. I was just worried he wasn't going to go and do his pit pass for a minute then. Ooh.
Well, he's just taking the realistic line, you know, making it look cool.
Yeah.
Instead of driving through everyone's piss box, as like sometimes.
Yeah. Ginder's closed in a bit on Jardier. They were a tenth apart last time to Jardier's favour. But still, with that blistering 24-4 and 24-5. Storm was 24-3. He's now up to 11th. 24-4 for De Heidi. 24-6 for Speed Demon as well. It's not forget they're not the only ones putting in 24s. Villalobos actually got a 24 as well. That's Villalobos and Zenny that are fighting at the moment. Of course, Villalobos in the Z4. Zenny with a 26-0 last time around of the Audi. So that is a battle that is raging on. And another close one is Gibbs and Yuhan. He's been staring at the back of that red and white Audi for a while now. And half a second is what separates them. Yuhan managed to open up just about a tenth over his chasing adversary. Look where Nick Meadow really has fallen off the back. There's Mistero, which you can just see behind the Audi, behind the McLaren rather. And Fab Iceman's brought his Porsche in. Another one to tick off the list.
So that's 13 then. So he's goes in 10th position. It's interesting seeing Smoking Puppy in the chat saying that he calculated off ironic pit stop that there is about a 60-second pit delta, which sounds a lot in my view, because that would mean Storm is in the lead over Jardier by 22 seconds, which I can't quite see how he's managed that. I mean, I know Jardier has had to pass more cars than Storm in this race because of you know, him not doing an early pit stop, but I really can't see him having lost that much time, considering his lap times usually have been in the 24s, just like Storm's have. So could be ironic, maybe he had a slower pit stop compared to normal, but at the same time I wouldn't count out that Storm is actually in the net lead, but I can't see it by that much, really.
Well, it is possible because the speed pit limiter is exceedingly slow. It's 35 miles an hour, 50 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, but the thing is, Jardier was ahead of Storm though when Storm pitted, and both of them have mostly been in the 24s afterwards.
True, and by and large, the front two have been ahead. And another faster sector now is by Dinder, so the Mercedes once more on the move. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if the top two choose to pit late.
Yeah,
as we saw.
I mean, yeah, there's no reason for Jardier and Dinder really to pit at the moment, as long as they're not holding each other up at least. Just run the fuel tank down. Just as long as you're not starting to feel a problem with the tires. But I mean, we know with the tires in these cars, it doesn't seem to be affecting them too badly, really. In this league, of course, if we didn't have the mandatory pit stops, we would have expected, even in a 90% race, probably these drivers to go for the full race without a pit stop. So I don't think the tires are really going to be that big a problem. And of course, you do lose time in the pits if you want to do that as well.
Starting to see some more 24s kick in, because our top two still right in there. A bit of traffic that they have to negotiate at the moment. 24-5, 24-8 by our leading pair. 24-8 last time around for Yuhan. So he's still fending off that Thrustmaster coloured Audi.
Yeah.
And, a new fastest sector 2 by someone we haven't actually looked at in a while. This man's on the move. CX3 De Heidi looking to get his foot down and make up some time to his arch nemesis of Storm. Berserker is in on the or almost at the halfway stage. The Renault has opted to come in, so that of course elevates Storm and De Heidi up another. Storm has got traffic. That's both of the cars ahead. That's Steve and I assume Danny. Well, certainly Steve in the blue Porsche. He'll be under blue flag, so he will have to yield at some point. I'm assuming that's Danny just down the road. Yes, it is. And there is Steve. He hit the brakes just coming into turn 4, so that allowed Storm to go through. Storm's got 8.5 seconds to close into Adalex's 24-2 for Storm last time around. A good few tenths quicker than our leading pair, so now Storm is starting to find some pace out there. We didn't particularly lose it per se, but ironic ironically, he's finding pace in traffic. That's a slightly unusual one.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm just looking at the lap counter. We're over halfway point now, but I can't believe there's still 22 laps left in the pit window. I just want to see Tanya pit and see where it comes out. I don't know if it's going to be with Storm. Is it going to be just ahead? Is it going to be behind Storm? And if so, by how much? So yeah, we really don't know these things. Storm and the Heidi, what we do know, of course, is that they have been running really, really good pace. 24.2 and 24.1.
24.175 by the Heidi, no less. Ouch! Goodness me. And that wasn't fastest lap either. Struth alive. So let's see who else is in a battle. Gibbs, of course, is still nailed to the back of Johan. Nesterovic is chasing Nick Meadow. So that's for 4th and 5th and 6th and 7th respectively. Villalobos is on the back of Zenny. That's for 14th. And 2 Desert Pack is chasing Fab Iceman for 17th. Everyone else is relatively spaced out or has various... Oh, Speed Demon's up there as well. 24.3 last time around. So, again, he had a very good run last week. Well, started from pole. Wasn't able to convert the pole to a win. But he's got some pace in the Audi still. Oh, nearly identical times by our top two. I think they have 24.8, but they are ferreting their way through traffic. So I'm not entirely surprised they are a little bit further down from where they normally are. Let's see where Storm is. Storm's still... I mean, that is 37 seconds between himself and lead, but exactly as you say, there's a 60-second delta there. And that's is going to reshuffle the order somewhat.
Yeah, definitely is. That means if that is the case, that the pit stop is actually that long, then that means Storm is leading the race here, definitely, by 3 seconds over the Heidi. Those two running very similar pace now. They've been about 3 seconds apart for many, many laps now. Yeah, Storm, of course. Now coming up to another back marker.
We just lost Nagrim, our first retiree.
That's impressive, though. This long into the race for the first retiree. That's at least way longer than we usually have to wait for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Danny actually was off the track to let Storm through.
That's an effective way of doing it. Yep. But slightly overkill. Yeah, we did have 25 at the beginning. That, of course, included Andrex in the pace car. So that's why we appear to... That's why I'm saying we've only actually lost one so far. And, yeah, just everyone else is kind of continuing on their merry way. And because Danny fell off the track, he's now... I think he's now got Steve for company. Steve actually gained a position because of that. He gained that 21st spot from the Audi falling off the road. So at least there's battles up and down the field, which is exactly what we say every single week. There is always battles somewhere to find.
Yeah.
Maybe not always the battles we kind of expect to see, but nevertheless, there are people battling for positions. Whether they want to be battling for positions or not is another matter. It looks like Johan's got Scott rather has got a face full of back markers. Just looking at where he is in position to the map. But yeah, I'm actually a little surprised we've got so many people going this late without pit stops. I kind of thought that would have had more pit stops by now.
Yeah, well, it could just be that Jada just enjoys his clean air and expects that when he does make a pit stop, he'll fall out onto the wreck close to someone at least. Then again, if he falls out on track ahead of people like Storm, the Heidi, etc., then at least he will have the chance to defend from them. But if it is like we think, based on the suspected pit stop delta, Jada will actually be behind, and of course, he risks then having to battle people, for the rest of the race. But at the same time, he'll kind of know where he is relative to the other guys, at least, so he kind of knows how much he needs to push and whether he needs to make overtakes. At the moment, he's just running his pace, but he actually has no clue, just like us, where he will actually fit out in the race after the pit stops. Then again, the long game is it's probably for the best pace-wise to just stay out there and just hope for the best at the end.
Absolutely. Dinder's made a couple of mistakes. He's now 2.5 seconds off the back of Jardier. Let's see what Storm 24.1. New fastest lap by this man, TX3 Storm. 1:24.141. absolutely blistering. He's now opened up 4 seconds between himself and Dahidi. Dahidi 24.799. Last time you could just about see the Z4 in the background of the shot, but goodness me, Storm doing everything he can to really press on and close in that gap.
He's pulled over 6 tenths on Dahidi that lap. He's pulled 5 tenths on Jardier, side in front as well. So Storm is the man with the pace at the moment, as we saw from him last time in the wet at Rapuna. So could be a second consecutive win then for the championship leader. He's certainly looking fast as something that doesn't run with F.
Fast as a fast thing.
Yes.
but again, he's being chased by Dahidi. So Dahidi, of course, our race winner from the opening round at Sonoma. Didn't fare quite so well last week, but is looking to keep right at the sharp end of the field. Noah is up there in third, but I don't think Noah has been in yet.
He has not.
No. Speed Demon is not doing too badly, in fairness, although he is 15 seconds behind Dahidi at the moment, so he's probably not going to be looking to challenge, but that could well be a net third for Speed Demon if it is indeed a minute's loss in the pits. Where's Jardier? He's got a back marker ahead of him. That will be Hunter? No, don't know who that is. Can never remember who's in what. I know Nagram runs one of those Lamborghinis, but he's already out, so not entirely sure whose Lamborghini that is.
The thing is, with the pit stop delta having been worked out to 60 seconds from Ironic, I think Ironic actually has had a slower pit stop than normal, because he's currently behind to Desert Pack, he's behind Iceman, he's behind Hunter, he's behind several drivers. I think he actually was ahead. I think he actually was ahead of a lot of those guys before the pit stop. So he either made a mistake in the pits, or he's had some tire changes and some repairs. Yeah, exactly.
24.2 from Jardier last time around. 24.3 from Storm. 24.6 from Dahidi. Again, whilst we may be focusing on the same 3 names, that is, we're looking at who's towards the sharper end of the championship. That's why we keep looking at what their lap times are, as opposed to anyone that is still battling. Speaking of which, Gibbs still battles you, and he must be getting pretty fed up staring at the back of that Audi. Nesterowicz still battles Nick Meadow. So that's still fourth and fifth, and 6th and 7th. They're not; those 2 respective battles are not that close to each other. They're about 7 seconds apart. But those 2 pairs still fight on. Villa-Lobos in the 2nd Z4 still fights with Zenny. Fab Iceman and 2 Desert Pack are having a squabble for 17th. Berserker's just lost that 19th to Ironic. Berserker,
by the way, is in his favourite position. He's finished 20th in the first 2 rounds and is currently in the same spot again.
Seems to be as consistent. And he finds himself 28 seconds ahead of Danny, so he could well maintain that, as we are on lap 42 now out of 63. 24.4 from Jardier, 25 dead from Dinder, so he's lost a bit of pace. Actually, Scott in the next, is that 24.6 actually by the blue Mercedes. So we're starting to see, as I said, now the cars are getting lighter. We're seeing those 24 start to creep in a bit more. Also bearing in mind that now I'm looking at the gap to leader, and that's still around 37. So let's see what Storm does this time.
It was within a lot. The gap to leader was 36 at some point, so I wonder if that is just timing's fluctuating. Yeah, we're back in the 36s now.
Yeah,
they've been a bit inconsistent there. Oh, 35s now even. So,
maybe it has gained a little bit.
And back to 36, yeah. So the timing is clearly fluctuating a little bit depending on where they are on the track at any particular point.
But yet another 24.3 for Storm. He's 3 seconds behind Adalexis now. Adalexis doesn't have to let him go. That's obviously 4th track position for 8th place. So we'll see whether Adalexis fights, which could, of course, hold Storm up. We will see. Still plenty of racing to go.
Yep, 21 laps to go in this longest ever race in the AOR GT3 Leagues. Of course, all of the, I believe, 7 league tiers we have for this season, running this format for round 3 of the season. And yeah, the longest previous race that we had was in season 7, where we had 75-minute races, as Smoky Puppy pointed out in the chat a long time ago, but I still remember. So this is the closest we've been in this league to an endurance race, of course. We do have an endurance league running occasionally as well, which Andrex knows everything about, and you as well, being having done quite a bit of commentary. I have
commented on them before, yes. They are I mean, there's still testing going on for the next LMP series. I actually had the opportunity in the last test race to commentate on the LMP1Hs, the new LMP cars that were released. And that was great fun. We had 2.4 hours of COTA with the LMP1Hs and GTEs. Yeah, that was good fun to watch. Noah has brought his car in as well. Oh, 21.159 by Storm. It's just 100th off his previous best. Really pressing on. Half a second he's gained on the leaders this time.
So, Noah, he's probably got to drop quite far down.
We've lost Iceman.
Oh, really?
We just lost Vab Iceman from the list.
Oh, man. He's going to stay on 0 points in the championship.
A great shame. He will not be pleased, but sadly, it's the way it goes sometimes. Your race just doesn't happen when the stars don't align or what have you. That is indeed what can happen. Let's see where Noah is. Out comes Noah.
See on the points go down to P20. He's 18th at the moment. Will any go past? Yeah, Berserker in the Renault just sneaking past him on the pit exit there. And Danny is quite far behind, I think. So that could be a battle then for 1 extra point, of course. 3 points for 18th and 2 for 19th. So at least they have something to dig into on the track. That's Nesterovic then into the pits as well in that black Lamborghini. See how long he's stationary for. Longer than we've seen a lot of drivers be, to be fair. Maybe some repairs on him as well. We of course have seen Nesterovic off the track a couple of times.
Just true. I would think, actually, judging by the fact that he was 17 seconds down on his best, assuming he didn't make an almighty great mistake on the previous lap, he was 17 seconds at the point he crossed the line, so a minute pit stop delta may not actually be too far wrong. Which means Storm is having an absolute cracker.
Yeah, I mean, I think we know Storm is having a cracker anyway, but it's just a case of how massive how massive the cracker is.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's really closing in on Alexis now. As the other battles we've been looking at have pretty much dispersed now. 24-2 by Jardier up at the front. 24-3 last time by Storm. Oh, Jardier's just got fastest final sector on that last lap, so that will help with the 24-2. 24-4 by Storm, so he lost a couple of tenths on that lap, and Heidi almost matched Storm's lap last time around.
I think Berserker's having a problem. He's just dropped 2 positions and a lot of time, so he is into the pits again.
Oh, he's lost his rear wing.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a big old problem he's had.
That's not going to help him avoid those wiggles that he's been struggling with through the race.
No. maybe he was on his way out and he just decided to snap the thing off. I doubt it somehow.
Well, maybe he wasn't happy with the straight line speed of the car. Just get off the way.
I want to do the Indy circuit. Never mind. So that is Berserker in the pits again. That's of course going to drop him down. Now, just had a look at the Stereos just crossed the line again. He was about 17 seconds down as he crossed the line, and then a further 34 seconds. So yeah, that's not a great far off a minute.
Yeah, but we have seen
pit stop loss.
Of course, we have seen faster pit stops than what Nesterovic did as well. For example, Storm and some of those guys were barely stationary in the box. I mean, of course, you have to add some fuel in this race, because I don't think the fuel tanks, unlike normal, where they will easily go 60 minutes, the normal race distance, but I don't think they can quite go 90. Another thing I seem to remember Smoking Puppy mentioned in the chat. He's been very active in the chat. Oh! What was that? Oh, that was backmarker.
That's Alexis.
Oh no, he
jumping
wasn't
out
back
of the way.
It was Alexis. Yeah, he hasn't pitted yet.
Yeah. Well, he either went deep into turn 1, but it didn't look like it. The line looked okay. I think he just jumped out of the way. But you realistically know which fights you're in, so that's fair enough. I was hoping Alexis might put up a bit of a fight, but again, he realises that Storm has got better pace over him and didn't want to lose time himself, so has chosen to carry on. Oh, Alexis, speaking of, he set the fastest Sector 2 last time.
Wow.
So he has pace in the Lambo. He did 24.8 last time, 24.3 by Deheide. So he needn't necessarily have jumped out of the way, but maybe it might have been a one-off, maybe in slipstream, who knows?
It's a mistake then, probably, from him to get out of shape. When Storm go through, of course, Storm will happily take that. That's less time lost for him with a car that he might have had to battle.
Yuhan is in.
From P5. Oh, God, no, he was running ahead of Gibbs, wasn't he? They were having that almighty battle. So he was running
fourth. He's
running fourth for quite a while.
See how long he stays in there for. A bit longer than we've seen
also
previously as well.
Long,
so
yeah,
that was quite a. And added Storm, but Storm has already opened up the Lamborghini, so he's he made a mistake last time, 26.5, so he lost 2 seconds in that last lap.
Oh, there's an advertising board just chilling on the track there, I saw. Interesting. I wonder if that's all the way from the first lap when Esterovich was plowing through them. So I haven't actually noticed it.
An alternate route.
Yeah, or it could be Berserker. He's clearly been off the track somewhere as well recently.
Yeah, it could be.
Either way, Yuan seems to have popped back out on track in 11th place, ahead of Zenny, who we haven't seen for a while. We saw him make a move earlier on in the race. And he's going to be 4 seconds behind Yuan. Could still be a decent net position, of course. It's still the top 7 bar Storm, so that's 6 drivers that haven't pitted yet.
Yeah. Oh, Jardier is leaving it. I mean, we really are pressing on. We're, lap 48, so it's another, 16 laps to do? He's leaving that really quite late. Let's hope he doesn't get kind of caught out the same way Fab Iceman did last week.
What's that going on behind? Is that a battle between cars that are lapped or something?
One of those is. That'll be VAR. I know who that is. It's for Villalobos and Zenny.
Oh, so that's a side-by-side battle for position. Actually, this is for 11th place. No, for 12th place.
12th. Yeah.
Excuse me. And they're going side-by-side down. I was going to say the main straight, but that's not quite it, because they have this little last section of corners to get through before they can get properly onto the main straight. Villalobos getting very feisty here with Zenny. Crucial for the team championship potential, of course. Villalobos running in the team with Deheide. And they will want to take the challenge to the team of Popsu and Storm. And here we go on the inside line for Villalobos, who will break latest out of these two into the first corner. The Z4 or the Audi. It looks like it's the Z4 at the moment, but the Audi trying to hold on round the outside. A bit of contact. Villalobos sort of squeezed him down to the curb. And out of shape, saves it and gets the position. A bit aggressive potentially, but either way, Villalobos is the car ahead of Zenny, and that's well, he'll certainly be pleased with that move.
Yeah, but I think Zenny's had a good run through that chicane. He's looking to try and now do an outside move. Well, good defensive positioning there by the Z4. Oh, nearly pushing the Lambo onto the grass. The Audi, rather, onto the grass. So we saw this kind of switchback going on before for when Jardier overtook Dinder for the lead. Is it going to go the same way for the Audi? Not quite. Wasn't able to get the traction where he needs it. That's the Hunter in the background. Alexis has brought his car in. So that Lamborghini has got to his pit marks there. That was ahead of Deheide, so that was in 7th. Oh, and Alexis has got a penalty. A 10-second penalty.
Must be speeding.
In the pit lane, yes. Oops. He was already on his marks, so he must have either accidentally dropped off the speed limiter too early, or possibly done it when he was in the box. So, oh dear, that could potentially hurt.
Yeah, certainly will hurt. He'll be slotting back out on track in 14th position. But Nesterovic and possibly Tedessepak as well should be within 10 seconds behind him, so that could be quite costly, that penalty for him. Yeah, Nesterovic is right behind him, in fact. Yeah, I think that was the Lamborghini I saw just ahead. No, it was not.
That's
Scott, yeah, so he's running third. He hasn't pitted yet in the blue Mercedes.
Storm's got someone to fight with. It's the McLaren of Nick Meadow.
Hey! So this is the first time in a while, really, that Storm has had to battle, of course. He
would have battled out Alexis if he didn't fall off.
Yeah, exactly.
If he hadn't fell off the track. So
a little bit of luck you have to have as well. But now then, let's see how Storm navigates the McLaren, the sole McLaren, who's been running relatively well. I mean, McMeadow is 34 seconds off the current lead of the race. So he's dropped a lot of time considering, well, 30 seconds to Dinja, who he was battling with for the lead at the start of the race. But still, hanging that McLaren in there. And let's see if he will want to.
Jardier's in!
Oh, this is the crucial moment then. Where will Jardier be?
Excited to that.
It's like he's made an overtake or something. Where will Jardier be compared to Storm and Heidi? And if he's not close to them, where will he be compared to Popsu and Speed Demon? There's a 30-second gap between Storm Heidi and Popsu and Speed Demon. So if we're unlucky, he'll pop in right between those and be nowhere near any of them. But let's see then. Jardier and Scott, crucial pit stops. Need to not make any mistakes in the box. Jardier is coming back out now. He is still, as he stands, ahead of Storm.
There's Storm. He's coming. That's the McLaren you've just seen coming on.
Oh, Jardier, need to hurry. He's not going fast enough down that pit lane.
Where is Jardier? Where is he? He's lost the position. Storm has got into the lead. Storm's still fighting Nick Meadow, though. So that is going to hold him up. And Jardier is behind Heidi as well.
Oh.
So that has dropped him down to third overall because Nick Meadow, Gibbs and Dinda haven't been in yet. So, yeah, that hasn't paid off entirely for Jardier. But that's Heidi. So he is within a second of the Z4 as Storm has now got past Nick Meadow. The McLaren then has succumbed to the Audi. So Storm didn't lose a great deal of time. Finding Meadow, whoops, and that's a little bit deep into turn 7 for Storm. So yeah, Jardier has got it to do, but he has made the passes on these guys previously. He's going to have to do it all over again. Yep. But now it is a straight fight to the finish.
Straight fight to the finish. Jardier in a net third position and in this race, and that is 3 of the top 4 in the championship in the podium positions. But will be when the rest of the guys pit out in front. So just behind Heidi. That could be a very close battle, and then there's still about 4 seconds up to Storm after he got past Nick Meadow. Interesting thing with Scott, he is ahead of Popsu and Johan and Speed Demon. So Speed Demon has lost a lot of time somewhere, really, compared to... I mean, it wasn't that far away from the Heidi and Storm in the early stages of this race, but throughout the race, he's just lost quite a bit. Last time as well, 1:33.5. He's had a mistake recently. Has Speed Demon, who's sitting third in the championship. So this could certainly, as it stands, drop him down at least to 4th behind Jardier.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Dinda as well. I mean, Dinda wasn't far off Jardier, so he should be coming out in a net 4th place when he pits.
And that's exactly what Dinda needs. He's had a 14th and 16th so far in the season. And there, speak of the devil, there he is. Then he's going to come in. And that will put him, we're still kind of working around, say a 50 seconds net loss. That will put him around about 8th place. So we will see then where that silver Merc appears. Gibbs is continuing. Oh no, beg your pardon, Gibbs hasn't got there yet. A little ahead of himself. See what the Thrustmaster Coloured Audi does. He has not come in, so he is looking to continue. Storm, of course, he's not going to come in the pits. And there is somebody else coming in. No, possibly not. So Nick Meadow then. That's not Heidi directly behind. Because that's Jardier having a look on Heidi, or forcing Heidi into the defensive move. And no, nothing's going to come out of it this time. Oh, that's someone that's gone possibly deep at turn 1. Whoever it was.
He's
it wasn't
a
Nick
behind Nick
yeah,
Meadow,
it's a lap. Yeah. And Dinder is out in 6th. He's got a good minute between himself and Scott, I think.
No, the timing says
oh, no,
10 seconds.
The timing's wrong, so 10 seconds. So there's a comfortable gap between Dinder and Scott then, so Dinder doesn't have to put too hard. There's 10, so he's equidistant between Jardier and Scott then, 10 seconds either way.
Yeah, he's going to have a lonely race at the end.
No such comforts though for Storm, Heidi and Jardier. Storm has still got a lead of about 3 seconds over to Heidi. You can just about see him at he's the lead car of this particular train we're looking at. That's Noah that's getting out of the way there. I thought Jardier was going to clip the nose there. Jardier chases to Heidi, who is chasing Nick Mino. Storm at the moment is just running after the lead that Gibbs currently holds. Gibbs has got to come in. He has to come in before lap 58. That was someone. There is a car in the pits. It's one of the. There's someone that's retired. That's what keeps catching me out. A 24-1 by De Heide.
Yeah, but he's going to be frustrated now. Nick Meadow was 1.4 seconds slower that last lap, and De Heide is going to be now right behind him. Oh, yeah, and with the speed De Heide is carrying compared to Nick Meadow, that could potentially be a chance for an incident if he's not too careful, but maybe not, because De Heide, oh no, Nick Meadow actually wants to defend, or does he? No, De Heide goes even more to the inside, and he's going to have it's done if he can sort of breaking out. Oh, Jardier trying to follow through as well immediately. He's going to be side by side through this chicane. No, he's backed out of that one. This is not really a place you want to be side by side. Now though, he's done this cutback move before, and there we go again. Jardier perfectly timed once again. It's such a hard thing to time as well. If you time it, if you're a bit too eager, you just end up hitting the back of the other car. But Jardier again has timed that very well indeed, getting the inside line for the next corner. So following De Heide straight through, crucially for that battle for net second place in the race, as Nick Meadow is now finally heading into the pits.
Yeah, he has chosen now to bring that orange McLaren in, and Gibbs has also come in. So that's the top two. The last people that hadn't pitted from the top spots are now in. So our top three, at least, are now, inverted commas, correct. So Storm leads the way with, what have we got? 9 laps to go. 24.3 by the Audi, 24.5 by the Z4, 24.6 by the Audi, 24.9 by Dinder. Dinder finds himself 10.5 behind the podium battle. Scott at 24.4, so there's a pace rather in that particular Mercedes still to go. Popsu is he's just coming down the main straight, so he's going to gain a couple of positions, so he's going to jump up to 6th position. There he goes. That's Berserker in the Renault, but Berserker is not on the same lap. Berserker is last, so he will not be he shouldn't be holding up.
Gibbs has come out just there to speed him, I think. Let's see.
He has.
Oh, and he's right with him as well, side by side for 8th position. Out of the pits for Gibbs and straight into a battle and speed him, and gets it. Just having that momentum around the first few corners. And that's who is that just behind? It's not Zenny.
No, that is Berserker.
So it's a left car then. We
Colonel McCoy.
Yeah, there we go. So he's in the last point position at the moment. So Gibbs then, kind of bad timing for him to come out of the pits to right there and losing that position. He's going to be 9th. And Nick Meadow also pitted, is in 12th. So everyone now has pitted, which means the positions they're currently in is their actual positions in this race, and the positions they will have to fight for, whether to gain any more or to keep whatever position they're in for the last 8 laps of this race.
And Nick Meadow is being chased by the Hunter as well in the multicolored Lambo. So Nick Meadow doesn't get any respite. He's straight under pressure. Villalobos chases Zenny. Gibbs chases Speed Demon, and Jardier chases De Heide. At the moment, Storm has got blank track ahead of him, I think. I think he's got any back markers to come, not for a while at least. 2 seconds separates the top two. 24.183 by Jardier. He is not giving up whatsoever on the top honours. He's got 3 seconds to gain, though, for the lead. and he's running out of time to do it.
Yeah, he's definitely running out of time, of course, as it stands as well. The Heidi is, I mean, they're all very, very close on pace. Jadier, last time out, was the fastest out of the top 3. But as long as Storm keeps putting in the low 24s, I don't think there is really a chance for these two guys to close in 2.5 seconds, considering we know how fast Storm is. We can see him, though.
23,860!
Oh my goodness, Jadier, the first man to break into the 23s. Maybe he can catch Storm, but if, of course, needs to also pass the Heidi if he wants to have a chance to win this race. Oh, the Heidi getting out of shape through the first corner. And I'm sure the Heidi does not want to give up this second place, whether he feels like he can catch Storm or not. So this could be a really, really good battle if Jadier keeps this up and gets even closer to the back of that Z4.
Absolutely, absolutely. Still, it's just ticking under 2 seconds at well, within the braking zones at least, between De Heidi and Storm. Of course, De Heidi is concentrating on the fact that his rear mirrors is just lit up with the headlights of that Audi. As we saw that 23.8 from Jadier, still maintaining that kind of pace. Just a couple of tenths slower was Storm, but it's going to take more than that for that gap to close down. Into turn 12, back into the infield section. There is absolutely nothing separating the Z4 and the Audi. I thought this was going to be a day for the Mercedes, but once again the Audis are coming through. Right in that mixture is the Z4. Let's see what the lap times are this time. 24.1 by Storm. 24.1.
Oh, by all of them.
All of them within the same tenth of a second. I mean, you cannot get more consistent than that.
Just shows how close these guys are, really. All of these guys driving at the absolute top level of performance in these cars. Of course, 2 Audis and a BMW Z4, but all of them absolute at the top of their game, pushing super, super hard. Must be slightly frustrating, really, for the Heidi and Jadier to be setting this good lap times and still not getting any closer to Storm up in the lead. But Jadier has got this target right ahead of him, braking very late there as well. Is Jadier almost pushing the Heidi through these slow medium speed corners. Here we go then. Can he get a good exit onto the main straight? Of course, by far the longest straight on the circuit, losing a bit of time on the exit, but could get a bit of slipstream effect potentially going down the straight. That Z4 though pulling very nicely away in the braking zone, in the acceleration, and then in the braking zone, Jadier right back on it again, but that time it was a little bit too deep, which means he's lost some time through the corner. And now coming on to what is actually the main straight. I keep getting confused by the two corners that look very similar, going into that little mini back straight and then onto the actual main straight.
You can see how early the Z4 going across to the right-hand side. 24.0 by Storm, 24.2 by both De Heidi and Jadier. So, of course, that battling is slowing them down exactly as you would expect. And that is allowing Storm to keep building on that gap. 58 laps done out of 63. If anybody has not pitted, or I think we've established that everybody has at least once, and if anyone were to pit now that hadn't served their mandatory pit stop would be disqualified. Still battling going on outside of this particular. Oh no! Sooner do I say that it's popped. Oh, that's the car that keeps confusing me. That's Steve's. At some point, Steve has parked the Porsche, which I hadn't noticed.
Yeah,
so,
I'm sure though that Porsche is already pitted. So has he misjudged his fuel?
That's the most likely. I mean, the car looks immaculate, so I don't know. There doesn't appear to be any damage on there. So yeah, it would be that he has. Oh, why didn't I think of it earlier? Yeah, he's misjudged the fuel. Yeah. So he's got less than a litre.
Can we quickly check the fuel load of the top 3?
10 for
10.7, 12.9, 12.8. Okay, so those two should be fine. Storm is a couple of liters less than these two.
Whether that's helping, who knows? Storm was ironically the slowest of the 3 by about 700 per second. So, you know, huge gaps suddenly forming though. We are on lap 60 of 63 of this hour-and-a-half race here at Indianapolis. It has been battling from Lights 2 now. Popsu has dropped himself.
He's reversing to his box.
Backwards. He stopped when we. He didn't take on any fuel. He hadn't taken any fuel on. That's.
He's even going out of the pits again.
Oh, he's probably triggering the pit stop again.
Okay, that's.
Well, he wouldn't make it. He wouldn't make it with 0.4 litres of fuel. There's no one there.
His pit crew is just taking holiday, I think.
I think they've
gone home.
Yeah. I think that's gone horribly wrong for Popsu. He will not be building on the 7th and 5th that he's had in this season so far. I think we'll spare him the indignity of staring at him. That's gone horribly wrong for Popsu, and it's not due to get any better. He's got 1 point still on the board, but of course Berserker will catch him eventually. So
here we go then. This is the battle really that we have to look at for the final 3 laps of this race. Jardier still all over the back of the Heidi, and he keeps breaking super late to Jardier, but every time he finds that Z4 in his way, he can't get any. He can't maybe break his leg as he wants to even, because that Z4 is right there. The other Z4 though, Villalobos, is not far behind. It's had a 3-way battle going on. Zenny and Speed Demon and Gibbs. This is very interesting indeed.
I think Speed Demon's made a mistake somewhere here. He was 27-3 last time around, so he's put himself right in this battle. And Villalobos is right on the back of them. And again, you can see that Speed Demon's Audi going very deep on that turn 13. So, and Popsu has come back out of the pits. Did he get fuel? Yes, he did. So Popsu finally convincing his pit crew to actually put some fuel in his car. Look at that stream. That's Zenny, Speed Demon, Gibbs, Villalobos, and I think Nick Meadows in there as well. Yeah, the orange McLaren at the back of that particular pack. They are continuing to fight, but right at the front still, that Audi's still pushing that Z4 along. Just nothing Jardier can do. He's just got no answer to Heidi's great defensive positioning.
Yeah, the Heidi's just too consistent, really. I mean, all of these guys are. All of them constantly in the low 24s. But as long as the Heidi keeps doing that, I mean, Jardier. when these 3 guys are all going in the low 24s all the time, then you can probably be quite sure that it's not really possible to go much faster.
Yeah.
So as you say, not much Jardier can do.
We saw that 23.8, I think, when Jardier was under a lot of slipstream from the back of the Heidi's car, because we haven't seen a 23 since. So that pretty much is the extreme of what these cars can do.
Yeah, definitely. And only 1 penalty so far this race as well, which is good to see again. Lexus's speeding penalty, just like last week, where there was no penalties at all. Oh, so it's good to see. As Gibbs, no!
Another one that's
misjudged it. Oh, by 2 laps as well. No, it's 3 laps actually for him.
Yeah, he wouldn't make it on 1.8 litres, so he had no choice. Had to bring it in, otherwise he would park it on the side of the road. So then, for the penultimate time, around turn 14, comes Storm. He's got a few back markers ahead of him, but they shouldn't be. And a flash of the lights, that is the correct use of that. And you can see in the background, Jardier and De Heidi still crossing swords as they are heading towards turn 1. No dramas for Storm at the moment. All 3 of the top runners still getting through. The Lambo gets out of the way. That is Popsu. And as his race has gone from bad to disastrous, it started badly for the front runner from last season and has not improved. As these 3 then go through 5, 6, heading towards 7. And Jardier again thinks about the inside move, but he's just nowhere near close enough to De Heidi to make it work. And there goes Storm, now with that Lamborghini in between himself and the people behind him. He's lost a little bit of time, but again, not enough to be under pressure. Around turn 11. As I think that if that's Popsu, then that is Colonel McCoy's Audi we've just seen going out of the shop. That's not going to be close enough to bother him. Colonel McCoy's in. That's such a shame. There he is again, less than a litre in the car. But your winner here in Indianapolis, it is TX3 Storm by 2.5 seconds, throws it into the wall, destroys the car. Why not? It'll get another one for next week. Heidi crosses the line second, Jardier 3, and Dinder another 15 seconds down the road. But he'll get the yellow flag, but not going to worry about it. There he is. A great effort for him in the Merc in fourth. Scott, another 13 seconds down the road in the blue Mercedes, is going to take fifth. A great effort for him. He didn't do so well last week. It was 15th last week, so he'll be quite happy for that. Johan will cross the line 6th position. He's had an 18th and a 10th so far, so he'll be quite happy for a big old handful of points there. There's Zenny in 7th with Speed Demon. His run of thirds has been broken. Or his run of thirds, he's had 2 of them. That's a lot of bits of cars. Wow. Look.
That's an upside down car even. Oh my goodness, that's gone hilariously.
Well, if you're going to celebrate, do it in style. and that is everybody that has crossed the line. And there are your final confirmed positions then. Storm taking the win, the Heidi 2, Jardier 3, Dinder 4, Scott 5, Johan 6, Zenny 7, Speed Demon 8, Villa Lobos 9, Nick Mido remaining in the top 10 with Hunter 11, Nistero at 12, Adalexis 13, 2 Dezaback 14, Ironic 15, Noah 16, Gibbs 17, Danny 18, Colonel McCoy 19, Popsu having been through the pits more than most in 20th, and Berserker rounding out the field.
At least Popsu got 1 point for his troubles with the pit
He did.
lane. So it's not completely wasted in the day, even though of course it's gonna hurt a lot in the championship. It's gonna hurt a lot for Speed Demon as well, really, to finish 8th after being 3rd in the championship relative when he was up there right with Jardier, Heidi and Storm, who have all continued their impressive start of the season. All 3 on the podium. So those 3 are gonna still sit there pretty at the top of the championship. Of course, Storm was leading the championship by 12 points over the Heidi before this race. He's gonna extend that now a little bit further. It's about, of course, no point for pole position this week because we didn't have a qualifying. But that's still 5 points more. Or is it 7 points? They've changed the point system a little bit. Is it 7 points more you get for a win compared to second, I believe?
I confess I can't remember the point structure.
Oh, 6 points more. It is 50 for a win, 44 for second, and yes, Jardier will pick up 38 points in 3rd. So that should be then as well the same as the results in the race. Should be also the top 3 in the championship as it stands.
Well, nice and consistent. That's easy to remember. I'm afraid for the interviews, I'm going to have to love you and leave you at this stage because I need to deal with my youngsters. So.
I see.
So, yes, I am abandoning you again. I abandoned you at the beginning to sort the grid out, and I am abandoning you again. I will be fired before the end of the week.
Oh, well. I'll let you do it, just for tonight.
For anyone attending Silverstone, myself and Fizzy will be there this weekend, which I have no bones about admitting I'm exceedingly excited about, because it's the first time I've attended a race live. So
Really?
Yes. I've
really?
never attended a... Yes. I'm
really?
So. I've got to this stage of my life and having never attended a race, but
that
will be sorted out this weekend. I cannot wait for anyone attending. Please do come and find us. It will be great to put faces to names. But for now, I must depart. Thank you for those who have been with us in the stream. Thank you to Fizzy for letting me waffle in my own special way.
Yeah, no worries. I prefer pancakes, but sure.
And I will see you all next time.
See you, KK. Have a good one. So, then, Jardier is waiting for an interview. I guess might as well drag him in for a little chat before we shut off the stream. Hello, Jardier.
Hey, Fizzy!
Hey,
you alone? What the hell?
I'm alone. KK had to run away from me. I think I scared him or something. I don't know. But yes, it's just me at the moment.
What a race!
Yeah, man. Well, how high is your pulse right now?
I'm kind of fine. I'm actually I'm used to this, so I'm kind of fine. I was enjoying that. So it was absolutely amazing race from my. I think from my point of view, I won the race because I did everything perfectly. I think I overtook 12 people in the first like 10 laps. Everybody was like, I overtook everybody cleanly. I did everything correctly. Even like there were some like accidents or something, but it wasn't like my fault. And then I was just pushing as hard as I could. And yeah, I think like I was just gambling with the pit strategy, you know, because I was expecting like if I pit early, I will be in the traffic, but if I will pit late, I might be like too late, you know.
Yeah, it's a tough call really, because yeah, as you said,
it was 2 seconds.
You kind of expect to catch up the back of the pack quite quickly when you pit, but then again, Storm didn't really. I mean, it took Storm longer than we expected to catch the back of the main pack, so he
really?
Definitely had a lot of clean air, which certainly helped him. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just people were telling me like what's going to happen and stuff like that. So I did like expect that, but I was like kind of hoping he will catch in the traffic or something. But it didn't happen. So yeah, it was well it was perfectly executed from him.
Yeah, it's one of the things with his strategy, of course. So he's taken early pit stop and it's worked out, and you of course.
Yeah. I was just I just like I didn't practice like for more than 10 laps, so I didn't know like what will happen. I didn't know like what will happen with the tires and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I was kind of like worrying, like if I would pit early and get damage or something, I can't fix it anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a very good point.
I was like gambling with the strategy to pit later and see if I will be able to fix damage if needed and stuff like that. So. Yeah, I'm really happy with the result. It was a beautiful fight with Heidi, absolutely to the limit into the finish. And I just wish to have like 10 laps more. We would catch the Storm probably, and that would be epic racing.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded that either, to be honest.
yeah.
So yeah,
I think I just lacked a bit of. I just didn't have that much luck probably to get the win, you know. But I'm absolutely happy with the result.
Yeah, I mean,
well done to Storm and Fizzy, yeah, and
me. Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, I mean, good stuff. All three of you were running all the time in the low 24s, really, when you were on it. So I think you, though, at least got the fast lap of the race. You were the only one in the 23s on one lap.
Really?
I believe so.
Oh, nice, man! I was just doing everything I could. As you can see, I was faster than both of the guys in the end, but yeah. It was just because I was high, like in a slipstream of ID, so I was not losing that much speed or so. But man, that was a race.
Good stuff. Well, always a pleasure to speak to you, Jadir, and I'm sure next week we'll hopefully have more of the same on track and also in the country walks.
Oh, definitely. And also, King-Kodiak said, like previously, he wanted to do reverse grid, and today he's seen the reverse grid, and I think I did good.
Yeah, definitely. You've done some good moves there, for sure.
Some? Only some?
Okay, quite a bit, quite a few. Just do a couple more next time.
Okay.
Next time you have to start right at the back and just pass everyone. Nah, but yeah, a great race from you, so good stuff. And Storm is actually waiting for an interview, so I'm gonna get him in here as well.
Of course. See you.
Mr. Race winner for the second week in a row. It's TX3 Storm. How you feeling?
Wow. This was insane. I'm very sweaty. 63 laps flat out. That's what it takes to win a race.
Yeah, boy, we flat out as well. I mean, the pace you were showing just all the time, low 24s pretty much. It was quite ridiculous if you ask me.
Yeah. Well, turning the pace, I was not really satisfied because during practice I had been a lot quicker. In the 123. Yeah. For 20 straight laps, 123, 124s. So yeah, but I had a contact.
Oh yeah, you did, yeah.
Yeah. So I had a broken car, so I just decided to repair aerodynamics. But I think there was more than that. But anyway, at the end, still got the win, so it's good.
Yeah, had you planned to do that early pit stop then, or was that reaction to the damage that you had?
Reaction to the damage.
I see.
Yeah.
Interesting, and I think people like the Heidi and some of the other guys up there as well sort of reacted to you pitting that early as well.
Yeah, they reacted quickly, but the undercut has worked perfectly. even though I had to repair the damage. I was still able to get in front of the guys, and well, I just had to control the pace, and that's it.
Good stuff. So you're looking good in the championship. You've extended your 12-point lead to now 18 points, if my head works correctly, which I can't guarantee.
I don't really remember the points, so I can't tell you about.
Yeah.
About
Well, then I have to take my word for it then. Still, though, a great start of the season for you. So
yeah, indeed, it feels great to have very strong performances early on in the season. Really hope momentum will carry on till the end of the season, because it's only the third round. We got 7 remaining, so everything can happen.
definitely. And home track for you next week at Le Mans.
Oh,
The Bugatti
great.
circuit, yeah.
Great.
So looking to make it 3 in a row, I guess. But yeah, really,
Oh yeah, definitely.
really good job today, man. And well
Thanks.
done on the win.
I have to say that Jardier's space was also very, very remarkable. Was quite close.
I was doing everything I could.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, this was a remarkable race. I think for every single person watching the race, it was so entertaining.
Yeah. I think the last 10 laps were amazing also.
Oh yeah, was giving everything I had. I swear to Jesus, I brought the towel right next to me, so I could just swipe on my face from the sweat.
You were expecting the sweat.
I had to call my
yeah.
mid-race. I had to call my.
I didn't know there was
girlfriend
going to be some rain. Didn't know there was going to be some rain. Or at least it was just only for me, but
Got a hole in the roof, I think.
yeah, maybe. See that with the mechanics.
Good stuff, Matt, and well done on the win. Finally, before we stop the stream, Nick Meadows been waiting patiently. I'm going to bring him in as well. So, Nick Meadow, the sole McLaren driver in the field. Can you, first of all, remind us where you finished, because I forgot.
10th, I believe.
10th?
Yeah, 10th.
Okay, fair enough. So you stayed in the top 10 after you were the last guy to pit, pretty much, along with Gibbs. How was that race for you?
Well, to be honest, I'm quite disappointed with the result. Yeah, I mean, in the first 10 laps, it didn't look too bad. It was like Dindas and me, I think, at the front, and then there was a big gap behind. And yeah, my pace wasn't too bad either, so I thought maybe a podium today if I'm very lucky. But yeah, I mean, you saw it probably on yourself on the stream. It was these guys are just insanely fast.
Yeah.
I'm so far away from a win or even a podium. Like a minute it was in the end. So yeah, that sums it up pretty well.
Yeah, I think. So I can't say anything against what you've just said there in terms of the fast guys up in front. But I mean, yeah, you've definitely given Dinda a fight at that early part of the race. I mean, Dinda went on to be pretty much the 4th fastest guy in the race because he ended up in 4th in the end. So, I mean, you must have done something right to keep him at bay for that long.
Yeah, the thing was, my pace at the beginning was actually pretty good. So like high 24s was actually pretty decent, but yeah, I couldn't maintain that, unfortunately. I don't know why. I just got slower and slower as the race
Do you think
continued.
that's the car, maybe, that doesn't like the longer races too?
Yeah, I can't figure it out, really. Yeah. It was a similar story the last 2 races. Yeah, let's see if I can figure something out for the next races, but I don't know. Everyone around me just became fast and fast, and I got slower, or at least stuck in the
just play with the
low
McLaren.
25s.
That's the best way. But,
the cars are so closely balanced right now. After all these patches, that would be a pretty bad excuse.
Fair enough. At least you're honest. Yeah. So you know, at least a decent result after the start of the season for you hasn't been fantastic. 16th and 20th, so you got some solid points on the boards at least. That's something. But if I can ask you quickly before we head off, what is sort of your aim for this season, if any?
Well, before the season, my aim was to get a podium, but doesn't look that good right now, does it?
Well, you never know. Maybe there's one like somewhere out there that just absolutely suits a McLaren, or you, or both. Then
or everyone else crashes.
Yeah, well, you never know.
Let's see. Just improve with the car and the setup, and try to fix the problem I had during these first few races with the setup. Yeah, we'll see what comes out.
Okay, nice one. Cheers for coming in and talk to us. And we'll see you next week.
Cheers for the broadcast. Bye bye.
No worries. See you later. Right then. So that will be the end then of this quite long broadcast of this first ever 90-minute race in the AOR GT3 Leagues. We're gonna have another one of these later on in the season. Round 7 is gonna be in this format as well, with a messed up grid and a longer race. But of course next week we'll be back to normal, 60 minutes of racing and now around the Le Mans Bugatti circuit, which I'm sure with how close a lot of these drivers are will throw up some super exciting stuff once again. So make sure you join us for that. Make sure you tune in as well on Friday for the iRacing Formula Renault 2.0 stream, also on the AOR channel. Unfortunately the R Factor and F1 leagues are on a break week this weekend, so no AOR stream action at the weekend, but of course next week we will be back with the GT3s once again. Wednesday 8 PM UK time, same as usual, for round 4 of the season. So thanks to everyone who's watched the broadcasts, and especially those who have stayed until the end of the interviews. Make sure you slap a like on the video if you have enjoyed what you have seen, and tune in next week for some more AOR GT3 action. See you later, and good night.